You are returning to Australia to play a couple of shows, but also returning to play at the Australian Open live open stage. You time it very well. Is it all about the Australian summer, or are you actually a closeted tennis nut?
I think it's a bit of both. We all like tennis.
Yeah.
Last time we were in Australia was last year for the Open, and we
Yeah.
managed to watch about 3 games of one match, and then it was just far too hot because we were English and we didn't have sunscreen. So this time we're going to try and actually watch perhaps an entire set if we're feeling very adventurous. But yes, we're really excited to be coming. We love Australia, and it's obviously much nicer in the summer. In fact, I went to Sydney once in the winter, and I didn't believe that you had a winter, and it was raining and genuinely cold, which blew my mind. I was like, so Australia, it'll be hot all year round, and it wasn't. So,
Are you prepared to watch a full match, though? Are you wearing your long sleeves? Do you have a wide brim hat? Have you got 3 litres of sunscreen on standby?
We're going to have to, because we're determined to watch some tennis this year.
What is fantastic too is that all the proceeds from your merchandise will be going to bushfire relief on your shows this year. What has it been like to see the images from outside the country? They're obviously being shown on your news. You're waking up every morning seeing the images. What's the reaction been from the other side of the world?
I think it's just slightly horrifying. And yeah, just as if we needed yet more of a wake-up call, just again, another wake-up call to the fact that we have thus far irreversibly damaged the climate, it would seem, and we need to sort of collectively as a global community start taking some serious action. On just a personal level, it just, the things that have really been resonating, I think, over here is the footage of rescuers carrying armfuls of koalas, and just, it's really genuine. I think, obviously, when you hear the statistics of the fact 1 billion animals have died, which is absolutely abhorrent, and you hear all the time about climate change and it causing these type of events. I think when you actually see those images are sort of so salient, because you see the individual animals being sort of and how it affects them. I mean, there are no words. It's just really heartbreaking.
On a more positive note, congratulations. You're continuing to get recognised for the incredible work Bastille does. Just been nominated for a Brit Award as well, Best Group. And coming up to 10 years. Now, in the music industry, are you entitled to long service?
I mean, it's really funny, actually. I think it just passes so quickly. The other day, Woody and I, our drummer, were just talking about how, God, we're like an old band. We're a band that, it came home to me once, really, how long we've been around. When I'm seldom recognised, and I got recognised on the street in London, and a girl who was about 17 was like, "Oh, are you Will from Bastille?" And I was like, "Yeah." And she's like, "Oh my God, I used to love you when I was younger." It was like, we've been around pretty long, but teenagers, we're like a distant memory to this person. I was like, okay,
when I was younger.
Yeah. But of course, to a 17-year-old, 7 years since our album came out, that's like an entire lifetime. She was 10 when the album came out. It's like, God, I'm already a has-been. I thought I was young still.
But I think
it's just amazing.
Part of why you guys are still going from strength to strength is that you diversify so much as well. When you team up with the likes of Marshmello and you invest in new genres and new ways to not necessarily reinvent yourself, but just to discover new forms and I guess introduce yourself to new ears as well. Is that been something that's been a priority for you guys over the recent years?
Yes, I know. It's never been really a cynical ploy to we want to work with such and such person or make this sort of sound to stay relevant or anything like that. But I think we all love new music, and we all love to try and, when we create new music ourselves, to do something that is not radically different from what we've done before, but at least sort of pushes the envelope a little bit. Otherwise, it gets a bit boring. I think, for instance, in terms of the track we did with Marshmello, it was just the opportunity came up because Dan had written a song for, I think it was for Justin Bieber originally, and we weren't going to use it as a Bastille song. And then the opportunity came up because Marshmello liked it, and so we ended up doing it. And it wasn't like a cynical, we're going to work with this sort of EDM producer to reach new audience. It'll be cool to step into that world, and it's cool that this opportunity is there. In terms of the sound, always, we do try and progress it as much as we can without, radically changing it. But yeah, I think if it ever became cynical that we were sort of chasing, relevance, I think that's when people start to sort of see through it. Then you seem sort of slightly insincere. So hopefully people will still like what we do.
Definitely
so yes and no is the answer.
You just mentioned that at the time you were writing for something for Justin Bieber. Have you guys ever found yourself in a position where you may have been writing a song for someone else and you've come to realise pretty quickly, actually, there's something more to this and we kind of want to keep it for ourselves?
Not sure. The marshmallows thing sort of happened like that, but there was more everyone around us said you should have this for yourself. I think Dan, who's more precious because he actually writes the main chunk of the songs, really didn't want that to be our song, which is why it ended up being a collaboration. Because I think, there is a certain sound, and as great a song as that is, and I love that song, I just think Dan didn't feel it was really what he wanted to be, the sort of Bastille sound, and he'd very much written it with someone else in mind. So I think the compromise there was to do it with Marshmallow, so it's sort of featuring us rather than being a full-on Bastille song. But yeah, I think there is, because Dan does a lot of writing as a writer for other people, and I think there is a sort of a distinction between the two worlds. I think there's very much the Bastille stuff, and then there's other stuff. Yeah. And then we also have, obviously, we've got these mixtapes that we do, which are often collaborations with other people. So there's this whole other branch of sort of the Bastille umbrella that we sort of use to express that sort of thing. So I think we have like a lot of avenues to go down for different sort of genres and stuff.
And Bastille is, loved by all and loved by everyone here. We spin you guys constantly on K-Rock, but definitely in the digital world as well. Bastille has been used on games like The Sims and FIFA. For me, I reckon that's when you know you've made it, is when you've been picked up by a computer game. But when it comes to competitive sports, because FIFA and that would come under it, who's the most competitive in Bastille?
Woody, our drummer.
Really?
He is a sporty fellow. He plays football and rugby. And he's the only one who really... Actually, Dan plays a lot of racket sports. Dan's pretty good at that. Woody and I used to box a lot on tour because I boxed for a long time.
Yeah.
And Woody is not only very competitive, which makes for a fun sparring session, he's also the most solid human being. He's like half my height but twice my weight, and he's all muscle. And I remember once really seriously injuring my shoulder, punching him in the face. Now, normally when you punch someone in the face, I don't know if you've boxed, it's them who come off worse. But in this instance, I just put my shoulder out of joint because Woody's head's made of concrete and his neck's like an oxen. So don't ever box Woody. He's definitely the most competitive though.
Was there any long-term effects after that sparring session?
I had a sort of torn shoulder, like a deltoid, for a long time. It made bass playing quite tricky for about 3 months. Oh my God! So yeah, and recently Woody, I've subsequently given up boxing because I don't want to get punched in the face for fun anymore. Woody still boxes a bit, and he and our tour manager sparred on tour, and the tour manager had a broken rib for like the whole of the tour.
All right, that's it. Woody's out
because he doesn't.
Yeah, he's out. Yeah, he's out of the ring.
Woody. He's terrifying. But yeah.
And we'll finish on that community service announcement for Geelong and the Surf Coast. Congratulations on the latest album, Doom Days. We cannot wait to see you back in Australia, as I said, not only with your live shows.
We can't wait to come back.
We'll get the details up at krock.com.au, but returning to the live stage at the Australian Open, I do hope you get more than 3 sets in, or at least 3 games in Down Under. It has been an absolute delight, Will. Thank you so much for your time again. We'll see you soon.
Thank you. Take care. Bye-bye.